Hey, what's up you guys, everybody? EmoKiba here to basically have bad news. So this was episode, I believe 4, and we lost all the audio. So I'm going to be narrating what happened in the episode. So you will get to hear what's happening and what's going on, but I just wanted to take a moment and go ahead and let you know what you're hearing is a narration and not an actual recording. So right here, what we were doing is we were getting iron ready. The reason being, we were going to upgrade our tools. We were going to upgrade and make a tool forge, which in a minute you'll see us actually look up the recipe. But before we get into that, let's go to the messages we were going to start about. So we were going to explained about the Chaoticraft server. So the Chaoticraft server was not going on at the moment, and the reason being was we were having maintenance and issues, and people that we recorded were out of town, so it's just on hold. But don't worry, that's okay. I mean, you ain't gotta be there, it's fine. I also explained that I'm searching for an SMP. I recently created a vanilla server to play with my followers on Twitch. You buy in slots, really interesting, cool concept. I like it a lot. But it's a vanilla server, it's got a few plugins, but nothing too heavy. Really easy to run. And I just wanted to go ahead and let you know that that's another thing we were talking about. So, what we're doing now, like I said, is we're making a tool forge. So I'm just explaining that we needed 4 blocks of iron and that tool station to upgrade to make a tool forge. So I know this isn't going to be the most interesting, and I still hope you guys stay and enjoy watching it. And I'm sorry again that I lost audio, but I upgraded to Windows 10. Oh yeah, I can already feel the hate. Actually, I like it a lot. It's got a really good and smooth interface. The only problem was it made my recorder, it changed my default microphone, so I didn't test it because I assumed it worked, and I lost my audio. But don't worry, we won't have this issue again. So what we're doing is we're just breaking this and making a tool forge. Not too hard. What was it? Seared bricks and 4 iron blocks get you a tool forge. So a tool forge unlocks the ability for more tools and upgrades and stuff like that. Really, really helpful. So what we were gonna go and make is we made it so we could make a lumber axe. The lumber axe would help us get more wood. So we were realizing we needed these parts. Alright. So we were collecting our material to get said parts. Really, really simple stuff, like I said. Nothing too big of a deal. So we're making patterns. The patterns is what we make so we can get our pieces. Alright, so I want you guys to pay attention and see if you notice what I forget. So I got the broad axe head. I got the large plate. Give me a second. For some reason, you'll see. You're probably going, you forgot the tool rod, and I'm aware of that. I actually make that, but there's another one I completely forget, and I want to see if you guys pay attention and where I make the mistake. Okay. So again, this is probably not the most interesting episode. I'll talk though, and basically let you enjoy what you can from it. I had a really good time actually recording it, and I really wish you guys could have kept the audio. So a mistake was made, and if you were paying attention, you caught it. So then I had to make aluminum brass. So what I did was I grabbed 3 aluminum to 1 copper, because you get 2 per ingot, and it's 3 aluminum and 1 copper to make aluminum brass. So I take an ingot and 3, so it's 6 and 2. So the proportions are perfect. I even have a think with myself, I'm like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? But we don't do that, so what we end up doing is we smelt the aluminum brass. Like I said, guys, narrations aren't near as fun as actually getting the main audio. And again, this won't happen again. Again, this won't happen again. Yeah, typical me. So the copper gets smelted, and bam, right, like so. Get 8 aluminum brass. So my calculations were correct. So I put up the copper and go to making the cast pieces. Still haven't noticed that mistake yet, have you? Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, because I'm gonna catch myself and pretty much rag on myself for it. I missed the heavy tool binding completely. Just didn't even think about it. For some reason I thought 3 pieces was enough. Clearly not. By no means is that enough. Yep, so I'm like, okay, I just need this. I'm counting. So 8, so 16, so I take 8 ore, so that I get 16, because you know you get a double, and I take the 1, and I'm like, got it, nailed it, because it takes 3 for the tool, the tough tool rod, but I didn't actually calculate the binding in, and I'll notice that later. What was it we were doing while this was smelting? I can't remember. Oh, and this is where we're I was like, oh, maybe we should go get some carrots or something. Yeah, I was like, let's go check the village and see it. And then because it had been a delay since the last time I'd played, I was trying to figure out exactly where it was, which I found it. Sorry, having a drink. Got a kind of sore throat. So we go down and visit the village. Nothing too intense, nothing too insane. Alright, so I didn't see carrots, but I was like, oh my god, potatoes. I tried to turn down my volume because it's really, really loud. And then I just adjusted on the headset, but you didn't know that. But now you do. Behind the scenes with EmoKiba. So, I grab all the potatoes, and I plant 1 row, and I'm like, I think that's enough. Let me find the carrots. Because I explained that I can always grow more off, and just keep those. And I eat this one just to get that full bit of hunger taken care of. Alright. So then what we do is we go up here, and we were actually looking for carrots, and I never found them, and I realized I forgot to replant them. So I was like, well, this is bad. Very, very bad. I should be ashamed of myself. And then I gotta leave and go home, because I realized that my metal's probably good and liquefied by this point, and melted down. So I lead off, just take off, I'm like, we're gonna be getting probably acacia wood with the lumber axe. I was just explaining that when I was touching it. So then we come across here, up and over, 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 up and over. And we keep on truck-a-luckin'. Eat the carrot because of the hunger and not being able to sprint, and I run too much. I know. Nothing too interesting, honestly. So we were just getting the lumber axe. That was my to-do list, and I was checking out blaze powder and stuff because I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do for a blast furnace because I want to get steel so that we can I don't know what I wanted steel for actually. What did I want steel for? I don't even know. I guess I was thinking I needed steel to get rails, but I don't. But oh well. So we get the part here, we get all the pieces ready, and I'm like, crap, I forgot the stuff. This is not good. So immediately after I realize this, I start getting the material instantly to get the lumber axe made, and I won't realize it till I actually figured it out before I even go to craft it. Like I was like, that finished, and I was like, okay, cool. And I looked at the parts, and then I was like, wait a minute, 3 pieces, and that's where I was talking about it because it was on the 4th slot. And I'm like, yep, I completely forgot the heavy tool binding. So of course, we go ahead and make a tough tool binding or whatever. I was gonna go try to use that yet, and it wasn't ready. So we make a tough tool binding, which I check out the cost, which is 3, so I know exactly what I'm gonna need. Go ahead and put that up. Sorry again, guys. Then I was like, ah, crap. I don't have near enough, so I just say bump it, and I work on smelting just 4. So then, what was it I worked on? I actually don't remember. Oh, we went ahead and started getting our treated wood that we were going to need for immersive engineering. Leave. I got creosote for something. No, I stored it. What's it doing? Oh, I was making bottles. Because I wanted glass bottles. So I could store more creosote. That's right. And I put them away for some reason. And we put away the creosote. And then I was like, okay, I have the ingot. Oh, let's switch that over. Place that in. Grab the binding. And make a lumber axe. And we call it Supah lumber axe. Then I go show people what it does. And for those who don't know, before we use it, should I let you watch? Maybe. I was checking to see if it had any modifiers, because I was gonna put a speed modifier on it, so it ran. Well, before we can go out and use it, we gotta sleep. Okay. So once we got our sleep, we're like, okay, let's go try this bad boy out. So I check outside. I run outside to go see how it's gonna do, and I was like, okay, so what it does is it's a tree felling. It chops down all the leaves. Oh, and we have fast leaf decay added, just to let you know, so there's that. And then I'm like, I was getting shot by a skeleton. I was like, crap, I don't have a weapon. It's like, oh, because my steel sword, I'm pretty sure which I have, is in the chest, so I go check the chest where I put all this stuff when I log out, and I grab my steel sword, my shovel, my just regular axe, and get my steel sword ready to go kick things booties. So I'm gonna jump across, kill this skeleton. He's gonna drop. Dropped. And let's see. I think this is where I tell you about, yeah, so I was saying later we can get an anvil to repair the pickaxe, repair the sword. And I was like, actually, I'm not gonna spoil it, but we have plans for actually have another way I want to start repairing tools. I'll just say that, and just look forward to it. You'll get to see all the great beauty that is what it is. Then I explained that I had been playing on a vanilla server and learned this technique. To a shout out to Indesirable on Inderaka, my server, which I was gonna do a series on, but I don't know. I don't want to have like a not real SMP and start recording it and then actually get invited to one. Just stop that. That would just be uncalled for, and I don't want to work on both for recording when I can just have one for streaming. So I explained that I learned this little trick from Indesirable. Again, a really great trick, and I never did thank Indesirable and let him know that I like the idea. For one, he was really busy working and building things, and I wasn't gonna be like, yo, I love how you make squares. And I know that, like, the squares themselves aren't really that fancy. It's the concept of what they actually do. They show where you should put your saplings so you can keep your tree farms kind of area thing in a perfect thing, but with a manual tree farm. I think then I explained that we're gonna build a tree farm with Steve's carts, or that may have been earlier, but that's also a goal. We're gonna start working with Steve's carts and automating lots of stuff, farming, all kinds of things. I never really got too in depth with it, and I punched the sheep because he ate my grass. Not too much, really. The first half of the episode, but we get a lot done in this next couple halves. So, first off, I'm not sure what I do here. What did I do? Oh, I'm explaining, as promised, we're going to work on immersive engineering. And I went and got the wood for it. Oh, also going, look, I bet you I don't have one of these. I don't have one for an arrow. Let me place the arrow. So I placed the arrow in one of the slots. And basically I was shocked that I had a slot for practically everything, but didn't have one for arrows. Even put up the wood. I actually moved the potatoes and placed them over so that I could keep planks and the wood right near each other. As you see right there. So then I'm like, okay, let me test this, which my theory was right. I guess that because coal coke's supposed to be better, it did double cooking. So I tested it with the 16 items to cook instead of 8, and just to let you know, I was right. I go ahead and put up the rotten flesh. I put up the coal coke. Okay. And I just checked that we had plenty of creosote, and then I'm like, okay, I think I was right. And then I eat the potatoes. And this is where I think we start working on immersive engineering. So the thing we were going to work on was we needed, first off, power generation. So we look at the kinetic dynamo, which is what you need to get the power. Then you need your power producer. So I looked at windmills and I looked at water wheels, and I decided we're just going to go with the water wheel. And then we're looking at the wire we're going to need. And I think that was it. So we go back into the book and we look at the water wheel. I believe that's the first thing we look at. I don't know. Man, I was clicking all over that book. So there it is, yeah. We're going to look at the water wheel. So the water wheel is really great because it allows for the creation of power with okay, sorry. Headset died in the middle of doing my narrative. But like I was saying, this is where we get everything ready to make the water wheel. So I was like, look, creosote. And then I was like, okay, that gives that. Not too bad. And I was like, I hopefully get the bottles back where I can reuse them. And you'll see me point at them, I'm sure. I usually do. It's like, sweet, look at that. Yeah. So I put the bottles back in there and I'm like, yay, we can store more creosote. And then I put the creosote we're not using back where it was. And then we make this. So I count out the sticks, which is, I count out it's going to be 4 apiece, and 4 4 is 16. Which takes me forever to do math for some reason. Okay. So 16 sticks. And I wasn't paying attention to the pattern, so here I go where I just place it like, that's it. No. What is the pattern? Didn't try the other single guessed pattern. 3. Oh, 3 planks. Up, wrong wood. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 pieces for the water wheel, and then the water wheel itself is just 1 treated. So bam, we got the water wheel. Which is really good. Alright, and then I look and see what it takes to make a copper coil. Well, I try 4 times to find copper coil and it just don't pop up, so I just look up coil eventually. Which we'll see in a second. Okay. So a coil is just 4 and 1 regular stick, and I was like, I thought it was a treated stick, which this is better. Okay. Then I look at all the upgrading and stuff like that. Up, we had a bit of a lag spike right there in the recording. I think I even said something about it. I'm sure I did. What was I looking for? Copper. Okay, so I was just cooking up a lot of copper. I think this is where I stop it, and then we cut back where we have all the material smelted. Let's see if I'm right. I'll go with make extra so I can get 16 copper. Okay. This is where we should have that. Okay, so we cut back and we've got everything done. Then I explain, oh, this is inventory cable. This is from Steve's Factory Manager. And I show you my little coding setup, basically. So, in retrospect, what it is we have a redstone emitter, so you can set up anything. So you have a trigger in the intervals for 1 second, and right here you'll see that it turns the redstone emitter, which emits redstone pulse, and it emits. I have it for 2 for 10, and I actually think I changed it to 1 because it was really slow at its count rate, because I was like counting for like if I was on a server where you don't want extreme exposure to tick lag, but this actually isn't so bad on single player. So I think I run around and tell you about Steve's Factory Manager. Don't worry, I'm definitely going to be teaching more about it, and we will, trust me. We're going to be deep into Steve's Factory Manager. So then we're working on the kinetic generator, or dynamo. So we're just letting everything cook. I think I adjust the timing on this a little bit, but I pre-cooked lots of material. So again, I just checked the lava to make sure that we were gonna have enough to finish it. So I just smelled a massive amount of copper, just like whatever. So I go and adjust it. This is what I thought. So again, what's happening is, as a 0 signal, and every 1 second it turns it on and turns it off, and the little drains, which you normally right click, are redstone controlled, so it sends a redstone pulse and automatically smelts. And I explained that I don't know actually if I explained at this point, but I can go and explain. Look, I just looked the recipe screwed up. Typical Kiba. So I grabbed some wood, get some sticks. I think I grabbed 4 logs. 2 logs? Was it 2? Yeah. 8, so yeah, I think I grabbed a good amount of 16 sticks. And I realized we're gonna need extra, so here I just wrap it around. Once again, not paying attention to recipes. Like what? And then I realized that it's just 4, and I was like, oh, that's so much cheaper. Alright. And then what we do is we get our copper coil, make our kinetic. We didn't have redstone, so we had to get redstone. No big deal. We're actually going to go mine and get some more, it looks like. I didn't realize we were that low till now. Okay, so we got our kinetic dynamo. And I get 2 buckets for water because, like I said, it's a water wheel, so we want to have water. And our nearest water source is like almost to the actually I think it is. I think it's a little lake up here. Our tree farm looks good. So we take our buckets and we head on out. So I believe I explained here that we're going to want a water wheel. We're going to want to set it up and build it, and I'll be back once we get everything set up, and then I'll explain it. And of course, as you know me, I definitely explained it just as I'm going to explain it in a second when we cut back. Okay. Alright, so we got the water wheel finished. What we did was we have a water source. We've got one flowing down and one under, thus increasing because it gets power based on how many sources are moving it. And I have it getting sourced from the top and bottom. So it's really chugging along and giving us lots of power. And I realized that we had forgotten to make wire connectors, but I had pre-prepped us with the material, and I guess I couldn't figure out how to get back to my own house. I should just use the hole that was right there, but I don't know why I didn't think about it. So then I make the wire connectors. You get 8 of them, plenty. And then I checked that our copper, yeah, we've got plenty of copper. And we go ahead and get us an LV capacitor, which need 2 treated wood. I looked for it, didn't realize that I pre-prepped myself with it. So a capacitor is just like a big battery, basically it stores the power. So what I do here is I go ahead and place it right there so that it's accessible for everything in the house. Which I think we're only really going to use it for the railcraft, like rolling machines, stuff like that. So what we do here is, probably an A system too, we'll use it for it. I realized that the wire's going to get blocked, so I place it. I was like, oh, well, at least it blocked the water source. So then I put the connector right here on the side, and I take our wire, and I just connect one wire there, and one there. And then our Veela, like it says right there, look at that. We're gaining RF. So we have a good stored up RF just running on water, a little water wheel. That's really cool. So we've got a water wheel powering our base. I'm not sure what I was doing at this point. jumping around and explaining probably that what I explained earlier with that we're gonna use the rolling machine and all that. So, looky here. Then I was like, hold on, I've got a little tidbit to teach you guys. I want to show you a trick. So I show that the lead ore doesn't smelt. Beknownst to myself, or whatever it is, I try to double it. That doesn't work. See, I remember you could get a dust with a hammer. What I didn't remember is that it doesn't actually double the ore. So, I look like a goofus right here. I take the lead and I'm like, yep, yeah, okay. Well, let's read the book, and I try to find everything about it. What it does is it makes a dust out of an ingot. But it doesn't make a double out of ore. And that's so you can make alloys like electrum and stuff like that that it requires. But you know me, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, what's going on? Hold on. There's something here. I'm trying to everything there. I was like, oh, okay, wait. Oh. And then it hits me. I'm like, okay, well, never mind. We'll go put this back up. We'll find ways to double it. So, we get the ore processing doubled and stuff like that. And what we're gonna do is what do we do here? I don't even remember. I just, I put up all the applied engineering. What is it called? Immersive engineering material. And I think this is when I do my closing. So I'll just do my closing legit. Oh, I'm explaining this one last time. It's like, so for those who didn't recall, I just wanted to re-explain this again. So this, every 1 second, it sees this redstone thing. It starts because of its output, its fixed set. It's set to 0, and then it counts 1 second, and it turns on for 10 pulses, a regular signal. So basically, it's like having someone sit there and flip a lever every 1 second, and it sends a redstone pulse, and that's pretty much what this is. I explained that I was going to use a regular timer from Blue Power, and it's the reason it was added to the pack, but it's so far away, and the ores and chunks and stuff, I'd have to go to new chunks because I started the pack before we had it, so I'd have to go to new areas to get the ore, and I didn't feel like doing that so soon, but maybe later. And I think those are pretty much my exact words, and it's like, thanks again so much. Here we go. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate all the help and support. Please leave comments if you enjoyed the episode or any feedback that you'd like to give. I've been EmoKiba. This has been episode 4 of the TrackMan pack. I hope you guys are enjoying as much as I'm enjoying playing. Be sure to hit the like and favorite and subscribe and join the crew today, and join the fellow Akamarian crew. And also check me out on Twitter, Twitter EmoKiba, or Twitch.